G'day and welcome. I'm Scotty North and I have with me financial planner Steve and accountant Ben. And this is our budget debrief. We've just watched the budget, gone through it with a fine-tooth comb. We're going to tell you all the top bits that affect you and your family. Steve, what are your thoughts?
Well, I have to say there wasn't much around superannuation, so wasn't an incentive for people to save and put more money aside. My concerns, as I will mention all through the thing, is that it's nothing there for mum and dads.
Yeah.
And when you affect mum and dads, they can't put more money into super. They can't use some of the superannuation rules to give them a tax benefit, which is part of the benefits of having super. And I'm concerned that we're spending money in a whole lot of areas. What we're not doing is helping the people who are building the backbone of the country, who are developing it, who are running the stores, who run the main streets, who spend their money on clothing and looking after their kids. We're not supporting them in any way. And when we don't support them, two things happen. They don't have money now and they won't have money in the future.
Yeah.
And they'll be broke. And the superannuation design and structure that was put out into the marketplace was to help people be self-funded in retirement. And we're definitely not seeing that.
No, and to me, the overall take on the budget was very much like, I'm not going to say that it was a rich man's budget, like that they got all the wins. I'm not going to say that. But the everyday Aussie really didn't get many wins, and even the NDIS was cut. So even the hard on their luck,
people who
Aussies didn't get a win, and the over 65s didn't get a win.
Yeah.
So pretty much everyone got screwed.
Everyone got screwed, except that when you look at high net wealth, and I always say people who've worked very hard to get to that position deserve what they've got. They didn't win it. It's not a lotto win. They've worked hard and they used the rules available to them to help prescribe their area. But the problem we have is that all these rules that they bring out and all the changes they bring out, the high net guys it doesn't affect them. They can sit it out. Hey, we sit out for a year or two. That doesn't matter. We'll talk to our accountants and get everything sorted and get those changes. But you're 100% right. If you're over 65, you just got screwed. If you're a mum and dad, you just got screwed. If you're a young worker, you just got screwed. Nothing got cheaper. Your insurances didn't get cheaper.
No.
Your Medicare didn't get cheaper. Like your private health cover didn't get cheaper. Everything's just got more expensive. And when we look at housing and the amount of housing that they're talking about, the numbers don't add up. The 65,000 homes over 10 years is 6,500 homes.
Yeah.
That's nowhere near enough. We need 50, 60, 80,000 homes.
Yeah.
And the two things that I didn't hear in that the broadcast, tax on inheritance, that was a big issue, and migration. I didn't hear anything about how they're going to manage any of that. And migration is, again, I don't have a problem with people coming into the country, but migration is a problem for rentals and new homes.
Yeah, it is. It is. And Ben, your take?
I think the thing is the offer, the working Australian tax offset and the change of tax rates are both things that are going to come in 2028. So the small pittance, the $250 we're going to get in 2028, it's nothing and it's
such
a long
time
time
away.
Yeah, and it's nothing is the short answer. And I fully appreciate come back to the point is these things are all in the future. Why are we waiting so long for the bad news? Is it so we get used to it? I don't get it.
It is very odd, and you often see when there's big changes, it sort of can be effective. It's kind of effective immediately, but it's never immediate with government, right? There's always but some of this stuff he's pushed out for a very long time.
Yeah, and I think that's the big thing. It's going to give a lot of people a lot of time to plan these things. And even when we're talking about this family trust tax rate, it really just means that the first $45,000 of profit from a family trust will be paid as wages. And that just means more paperwork, more admin, more compliance, more accounting fees. And Jim Thomas came and said these measures are going to save 376,000 hours, which is 43 years of time. And I'm like, yeah, those bits are safe, but you're about to add about another 100 years to everybody who now has to do super.
That's right.
And also has to flick into payday super too.
Yes.
So yes, we're going to pay our $45,000 in wages to mum and dad who run a small business through a family trust. But then we're also going to be compulsory making them put that money into super.
Yeah.
Which is before it could be a trust distribution. There wasn't super. as a small business owner, you got to choose how your wealth creation strategy went.
Yeah.
They're kind of restricting us that we must follow cookie cutter.
That's
We're
right.
all salary and wage earners. We're all doing this. We're all going to be happy with our $250.
No, it's all the same vanilla paintbrush
Yeah, we're all
they're
vanilla.
using, right?
Yeah. And the thing is, I don't know what the numbers are, but it's a large number of people work for small businesses in Australia. A lot of people own small businesses in Australia. We're not all big work for the big corporations. We're not just salary and wages people. To me, this is $250. If you've got a job and you just got to work 9 to 5, great. Here's $250. If you're anyone else, no, we don't like you. You're going to have to pay more tax.
And on the family trust topic, I mean, what did we say? You said 900,000 family trusts.
Yeah.
That's a large number that now has to take the 30% tax up front or close the trust and restructure.
I think we're going to see a lot of that restructure approach, because the thing you also do is we're talking about 30% tax. Now, small business tax entities, which most small people running business in a company, sit at the 25% tax rate. So now there's a 5% penalty for operating through a trust.
It's ludicrous.
It's this disjointed belief that, small businesses, mum and dad businesses are in a company that's 25%. And anyone who's got a trust must be a high net wealth individual, ripping off the government. Let's charge them 30%, in line with companies with over, I think it's like $100 million of turnover.
Yeah.
It's not true. It just means they went to their accountant first. The accountant said, look, this is a better structure than a straight company. Let's think about it. And I think the thing is, being Australian is about giving someone a fair go. These are the laws. This is what we've done. Well, hang on. What are we doing now? Is this really a fair go?
Yeah.
No, we're penalising you for being an extra 5%. Just because you did something different.
Yeah.
Like, to your point, let's all be vanilla. Let's all go get a job. Let's all work 9 to 5. Let's catch the tram to the office, eat our lunch on a park bench, go home and be happy with our $250 working Australian tax offset.
Yeah.
And then get to retirement and pay more in private health insurance. No offense.
Well, that's right, because over 65s, we're also a loser on budget night tonight. So, Steve, does this affect anything that you're already considering with sort of retirement planning with clients?
Well, I think it affects their asset holdings. So, one of the great advantage of a SMSF structure is that you can limit your exposure by putting maybe a direct property asset into the fund and reducing the amount of share holdings that you have. Now, there's a lot of talk about a recession coming in September. And so there's lots of concern about how the stock market will go, especially if America has a complete collapse, because that will affect everybody. So those people who are holding properties, and I can easily go back to COVID, when COVID went through and we saw a 30% drop in the share market, our clients with SMSF property didn't contact us.
Yeah.
Because their exposure rate was so small.
Right.
But people who were talking about their funds that are held with whoever superannuation had their 500,000 or 600,000 completely exposed to that drop.
Yeah.
You're talking $150,000 losses,
Yeah.
and not everything bounces back.
No, and not quickly.
And not quickly. COVID was different. It was stimulus, global stimulus to try and bring the world back online. But if we have another correction in the market, or even worse, the fact that stimulus isn't really available, we know that because they only offered $250 in 2 years' time, then it's going to have a long-term effect. Now, if you have a super fund and you suddenly lose, I don't know, $50,000 out of that fund, it's the time it takes to get back plus to make it earn. So if you lose 50 and get 50 back, you haven't gained anything. You've just lost time.
That time.
During that period.
Times.
So
yeah.
There's nothing in this whole process that I looked at and I went, oh my God, this is really great. This is incentivizing Australians to go out, work hard, put money into the super, self-fund their retirement, and take all the weight off the government because of a really nice structure. And that's not what's happened. What we've done is said, if you work in a commercial premise, we're going to give you discounts. If you run a company, we're going to give you a discount. If you run EVs, you're going to get a discount. We're going to rebuild the petrol plants that we used to have many, many years ago. We're rebuilding those guys. It's going to cost a lot of money. And by the way, we think you're going to save all these hours, but like Ben just pointed out, there's a lot of expense in those hours.
It's huge.
Compliance in our industry, compliance in that industry are incredible. And then if we need to engage valuers to come out and value properties because of all the new rules, that's a client expense. And that's going to be costly.
And time.
And time.
Doesn't
Doesn't affect the
amount
government.
of valuers.
there's only a certain amount of valuers, and it's hard to get them now.
That's right.
Let alone when they're going to bring in 65,000 homes over 10 years. I mean, it's a terrible low number, but yeah, there's a lot of concern. There's nothing in that I looked at and I went, oh my God, all the clients have been ringing me for the last couple of days to say, is this going to affect me? Well, generally, no, you're existing, so you're okay. Future investors, yeah, we're going to have to wait a little bit and then get back on the horse like we have from 2027.
Ben, is this a budget that is just for the government's sake?
Oh, I think it's more for the accountants, I'm going to be honest. Sitting pretty on this one. The bit is there is a significant revenue increase coming here through this. They're talking
To
about
the government.
To the government, yeah. When you talk about government revenue, we talk about the ATO revenues, how much they collect is the short answer. I can see a great way of them picking up more money and putting the compliance burden back on business owners and small
Onto
business.
the public.
Yeah, and I don't believe this saving number. You might save it here, but you're going to cost payday super, all this other reporting. It's just the cost of running a business. If you're a TT on the edge, have a hard think about it. That's the thing.
Payday super those companies that are on the edge, payday super could be the end of them.
Yeah.
Because they just, they were paying it monthly or quarterly, however they decided to pay it, and there would be a process around that, how that money may be invested or held.
Yeah.
But now they've got to pay it per pay cycle. They mightn't just have the funds.
Well, we're going to see
simple. They mightn't have the funds.
In July, because we're going to see in July, we're going to see this double up of the last quarter of the 26th financial year having to be paid. So 3 months having to be paid at the exact same time you're paying the current super. I think you're going to see a lot of businesses have a real cash flow struggle in that period, unless you've already planned for it. If you haven't planned for it, start planning now.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
you really need to get on board with that because it's going to be a real cash flow shortage.
Well, my solution was that we obviously were paying super quarterly, and I just said I will change wages to quarterly then. That's okay.
Yeah.
But everyone else didn't really like that idea.
Well, look, as a business owner, it's a great idea for cash flow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think the other one was there's one thing we haven't talked about is the small startup business actually being refunded all the pay-as-you-go withholding tax and fringe benefit tax it has to pay in the first 2 years. Maybe there's a strategy around we start up a new startup every 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think that this, there's always changes. They're always fiddling the system, doing whatever. There's some really big ones here with the negative gearing, the capital gains, and the family trust. That's the big three that I've seen.
Yeah.
And they have real impact on you. And if you need proper planning, then you need to contact us and we'll put you in the right stead to who to talk to and just going to help you specifically. But the thing that I look at is that there's always a way around some of this stuff, right? There's always things that, whether it's a restructure or whether it's a smarter use of advice or whatever it's going to be, someone finds a way around this. It doesn't matter what they do. There's always loopholes that they patch up and get created and what have you.
Yeah.
So be smart about your money handling.
Yeah, if you're going to sit in the corner and think, hey, if I do nothing, I put the money under the mattress, this is going to help me. It's not.
No.
It's not going to help you. Inflation will destroy every bit of money that you've got if you don't do anything with it. And so you do need to go out and make sure that you're getting the right advice and doing the right structures. That's appropriate to you because it's got to be about you. It's not, especially when we talk about self-managed super funds, it's not an off-the-shelf product. It's specific per person.
Yeah.
So you've got to have a plan. And if you don't put a plan in the process now, the biggest comment we ever get, we should have done this 5 years ago.
Should have done it earlier.
Yep, should have done it 5 years ago. Yep, 100%. Because 5 years ago you could have bought a property for $340. Now you're paying $700.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and I think that's a really good summary of if you've never thought about your money in the way of longer term planning. This budget to me proves that you've got to go and invest in that even more so than ever before because the way that they're fiddling the rules, changing legislation and sort of spreading the tax net, let's call it.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to negotiate that, navigate that yourself. You really got to have help. So make sure you come and get the proper help that you need. Otherwise, you're going to get left behind and you're going to just end up in the pension, which is what people don't want to do and what actually the government doesn't want you to do anyway. No. So, which is just ludicrous on some of these things.
That's right. Well, there's a cost to do everything, but there's a bigger cost if you do nothing.
Yeah.
And if you don't plan ahead, you don't use good investment structures to go out there, you don't use compounding of your investment to put you ahead, you leave your investments exposed to whoever who's managing them, so it's just straight superannuation, We've had clients even today tell us that they just don't look at their super accounts.
Yeah.
So it's really important that you need to always look at it. Taking responsibility, advisors like us, our job is to say, hey, you need to look at it. If I die tomorrow, you should be able to manage that if I'm dead. So you should know how it works. You just don't leave it to us. It's about managing your money because this is your money in your pocket, not a lotto win. It's
That's
about
right.
your retirement.
That's right. Yeah. And one question before we close.
Yes.
You mentioned before potential that there's talk of a recession, in September. Have they got a date? Maybe, September 11th or something, memorable date.
Well, there could be an event on that day. Who knows?
But, will this budget enhance the chances of a recession or hinder the chances of a recession?
At the very opening, he said that there's some hard times ahead. So I think he was referring to it. There's a lot of factors that involved. I don't think Chalmers is a powerful enough man to create a recession by himself. There's a lot of global effects that have got to happen for that to happen. But if they do happen, and you do have this budget and payday and a few other things, the recovery may be a 5-year, 6-year recovery, which for some businesses will be the end of them. And then for some towns, it might be devastation also.
And Ben, should people naturally be afraid of a recession? Because a recession is just 2 quarters of non-positive, right?
Yeah. Do you need to be worried about a recession? No. Do you need to plan for a recession? Yes. That's the big part is don't be very exposed when it happens, but you appreciate taking risks too. Recessions can be opportunities. I think that's the big part about it. And
but why are they scary? Like, let's face it. If we had 2 quarters of 0.1% growth, right? We're not in recession.
Correct. And
if we're at 0.1 negative growth, which I hate that terminology, right?
Yep.
Then we are in recession. But there's only 0.2 there.
And well, I think this is a bit you look at too, is through COVID, we were looking at whether or not we had technical recessions.
Yeah.
And that's correct. You got 2 consecutive quarters of negative growth is a technical recession. Did the economy shrink in that period? No, but inflation did.
Yeah.
And I think this is, through COVID, we had really low inflation, really low interest rates. This is kind of the new norm, but it's a case of big recessions like the 1992 recession, they're different kind of kettles of fish. Like we won't do those again, but you need to be aware of it, plan for it.
So how can you plan for it?
I think the thing is you got to look at what your exposures are. Now we also say this, especially people in small business, you got to make sure that you are profitable every single day of the week. Don't have big sales numbers are vanity. Profitability is where you got to do. Review where you are, review your costs, review your approach, review how much you're charging. Yeah. Big conversation we have with all our clients is you're not charging enough. Inflation is this. Have your prices followed?
Yeah.
No. Well, Woolworths have. Yeah. Coles have. You're falling behind everyone else. And like I say, you're always the most critical of your own prices. You've got to realize people don't actually care that much. Yeah. They also don't compare.
No, they don't. All right, that's good. So, as a budget debrief wrap up, final thoughts?
Final thoughts. I think we're going to have 4 days of rebuttal and a lot of things happening in the marketplace and a lot of people coming up with opinions. There'll be lots of skepticism. A lot of things will be going on out there in the marketplace. And I think somewhere before 1st of July 2027, we'll actually have some answers around what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I think the next 14 months to 1st of July 2027, very busy time. Get the ducks in a row. Make sure your structures are right. Make sure your negative gearing's in the right position. Make sure you have all these things done. When we get a bit more clarity around it, it does give us time to sort it out. So let's not wait until May 2026 or May 2027. Let's do it now. Start having these conversations. Let's plan for it. You're right. They come out with the budget. People come out with a loophole. We've now got 14 months. Let's get ready. Let's get working on it.
Get the loopholing.
Let's put money back in people's pockets, not the government's.
That's it. I agree. Well, if you want money back in your pocket, you want to take more control of what you want to do, you need to contact us via wherever you're watching this video. So comment in the box and one of my team will get back to you and we'll put you in touch with the right people to help you get ahead financially. So in the comment box or in the bio, there'll be a link in the bio or a comment in the comment box wherever you see these videos. Comment and we'll be in touch and be able to help you manage your money better and kind of offset a lot of the things that are happening in the budget and make your future a lot brighter. All right, that's it from the desk. Thanks,
Thank
Ben.
you.
Thanks,
Thank
Steve.
you.
Thank you.
All right, till next time. See you then.